Hello there and welcome back. So with this video we are going to start finally exploring our text tool. So we can access the text tool by pressing the T keyword or letter on our keyboard. So there are two different approaches of adding the text on our canvas. The first approach is just by typing here or clicking here somewhere on the canvas and then typing the actual text, right? And there you go, that's how it works. And the second option is just by selecting the text tool and then clicking and dragging the actual border or the rectangular area within we want to create the actual text, okay? So with this second approach, there is a little difference, right? So in this design panel, whenever we select this second text that we have created by clicking and dragging this rectangular shape, then you will see that this fixed size option is automatically selected, while on this first selected text, this first option is selected, so auto width, which means that whenever we drag here this rectangular area, then by default our text will have the fixed size or the fixed bounds area, right? While our first approach, whenever we click on the canvas with the text tool, we will be able to create the text which size will be automatically calculated without any fixed values, right? So we can add here as many letters as we want and our actual text bounds or a box will automatically expand. However, here now that we have declared that actual bounding area or that box, we will not be able to expand furthermore, or our actual text will expand. However, that text will basically go behind this rectangular shape, right? I'm going to remove this second text as well. I'm going to only leave this first one. So in this design panel, I'm going to now explore some different kind of properties that we can modify with our text. So the first thing which you're going to see here is a drop down. And this drop down will basically allow us to select what kind of font we want to choose for our text. So we can either go through this drop down and just scroll all the way down or up, or we can just type here, for example, the name of our actual font and we can press enter, and then that font will be automatically applied for our text, right? And down below, as you can see, we can select some different kind of styles for each and every font family that we choose from this drop down. So in this case, as you can see, we have a lot of different options to choose for this Roboto font. So we have a medium, we have a thin, and we have some other options as well. The next thing here, as you can see, the next drop down will allow us to select the actual size of our font. Now we can either select that size from here or we can type the number manually, right? So we can, for example, say here 18, there you go. And the other option for actually increasing the height or the font size of our text is with a scale tool, right? So I have already told you and we have already seen one example with about that. So as you can see, whenever I try to increase this text with a move tool, then I will be able to increase only this actual rectangular shape around the text, right? And not the actual text. However, if we select this scale tool, then whenever we try to increase this rectangular shape around our text, then the font size of our text will also be increased as well. So that's how it works. Okay, let me just set that to auto width. There you go. Let's specify here a little less font size, for example 18, there you go. So the next option which we can see here is called line height. So to show you how this line height actually works, first we need to add a couple of more lines to our text. So we can add a new line to our text by just pressing the enter key, right? And with that I will be able to create a new line for our text. So now if I try to modify this actual line height value, let's see what kind of a result we're going to get. So let's specify, for example, 20. As you can see, we can also just use our mouse cursor to just move on the left or on the right to increase the actual line height value. So that's the result which you're going to get, and you can modify how much space you want to be included within the lines between your text. So it's up to you, or you can just specify the auto value. So if you just specify here character A and press enter, then that value will be automatically declared and selected for your specific font. Now the next option that we have here is called the letter spacing. So with that we can increase the space between each and every letter in our font, right? We can now press Ctrl Z to undo. There we go. And the next option here is called the paragraph spacing. So we can also, it's kind of similar to the line height as well. We can set it to 0 back. There we go. And finally, we have those options that we have seen a couple of minutes ago. So we have auto width option for our text, which will allow us to expand our text based on the text we actually enter within this bound box, right? There we go. So it will expand automatically itself. We have this option auto height. So with the auto height option, we will be able to basically expand our font down below and not in the width. So we are now increasing the height of our text and not the width. So that's the main difference between those two options, auto width and auto height. And the third option for now here is a fixed size. So with a fixed size, this bounding box will stay with that declared size that we have declared for our text. As you can see at the moment, we have declared here 223 dp for our actual text box and a height of 126. And of course we can change that manually by ourselves, but that value will be fixed because we have marked this fixed option right there. Next options that we can see here are for this alignment. So for the text alignment, we can align our text to be on the center, on the right or on the left side of this box, of this text box. And then we have some options to actually specify or align our text on the center, on the top or on the bottom of our actual rectangular shape. So now as you can see, this is what kind of a result we're going to get. So now our text is on the bottom of our actual rectangular area. There we go. And we also have this type settings option. So let's open that up. And there we can see a bunch of more text options that we can modify for our actual text. So there are three different categories: basic, details, and variable. First, I'm going to stick with the basics. So we can already see those options, auto width, auto height, and fixed size. But did you know that there is also one more option called the truncate text? And with that option selected, now whenever we try, for example, to reduce the bounds of our rectangular shape, as you can see now I have reduced the actual height of this box, even though we have one more line to show here. And in that case, this actual rectangular shape or this box will just show those three dots to indicate that there is more text within this text box, right? So that's one quite useful option that you can use within your text box. There we go. Now I'm going to specify here to auto height, for example. We have covered those options for text alignment. There is also an option of a decoration, so we can specify, for example, those underlines or this strike through. Now, the great thing about those type settings is that you can actually see the preview of how each and every option from here will reflect to the actual text in our canvas. As you can see, we can just press that option and now our text will have that strike through on the middle of each and every text line. There we go. Here now we have an option for a paragraph spacing, for a paragraph indent, so we can also add this indent as well. So that's how it works. I'm going to talk about the lists in some of the next videos. Next we have those case options. So we have a lowercase, uppercase, title case, small caps, and a fourth small cap. So we can choose between some of those case options. Now let's switch to the details section. So here we have some letter case options as well. We have a numbers section. So basically for each and every font that we have in our PC, we can choose how those numbers will actually look like. So each and every font may have a different options in this details section. So based on the actual font that you have selected, you may see here a different kind of options. We also have an option to set, for example, the subscript or the superscript. So we can, for example, choose only a certain part of those characters. And we can now modify or just apply this superscript or even a subscript as well. So that's how it works. There we go. We have some more options down below. So be sure to check all those options, because each and every font may have various different settings that you can modify by yourself. And finally, we have this variable tab or a panel, which will allow us basically to change the style of our font. So as you can see, let me just select the whole font. So there we go. Now we can modify its weight. So from the thinnest to the boldness, there you go. That's how it works. And as you can see, while we are modifying those values, our actual weight property is also changing automatically. So we have those boundaries here, or borders, and each and every border here will represent a separate style within this font, but also we can change those values in the middle, right? So we don't have to choose the regular or the medium, we can choose something between, right? So that's also one useful option that you may need if you are working with some serious design projects. There you go. Okay, here also we have the width, so we can modify that as well. Alright, so that's pretty much it about this text tool. So now you have seen a couple of different options that we can choose within this text tool. You have seen how we can specify and actually increase or decrease the actual boundary box of our text. We can specify the auto width, auto height, fixed size, and even fixed size with the truncated text. And of course, one thing to note here is that you cannot actually increase your font size just by dragging this box with this move tool. Instead, you need to select this scale tool, and only then you will be able to increase the font size at the same time while you're dragging this actual box. So if you have any questions about the text tool, feel free to comment down below, and for this video that will be all.